Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Video games. Yet another medium that we have discovered that allows humankind to continue doing its favorite pastime, to tell stories, and to yell slurs at other people halfway across the world. The video game industry has mushroomed in value and popularity within this new mock of the century. Video games no longer carry the connotation that only nerdy, smelly guys in glasses sweat over them into the wee hours of the morning while also worshipping Satan for some reason. Nowadays, the picture of the average gamer has beautifully morphed into a nerdy, smelly guys in glasses try-harding on Valorant into the wee hours of the morning, but now, whenever he hears a woman, he can unleash his misogyny that much easier. Okay, no, it's so much more than that now, okay? Video games are popular and have been, dare I say, normalized. You can talk about your kill count in Fortnite or whatever out loud, and not only do people not give you a swirly on the spot or do some weird 90s movie bullying stunt, but they know what you are talking about. And you can also get clout from it, I guess. I don't know, girl, Ariana Grande's in Fortnite? Who's gonna tell me? Why is Ariana Grande in Fortnite, okay? Just goes to show. Ariana Grande's f***ing with Fortnite, so is the entire world, okay? This normalization of video games truly shows in the industry's wallet, okay? According to a Statista report, the video game industry is expected to hit $282.3 billion in revenue worldwide in 2024. The average revenue per user is projected to be around $215.20 in 2024 as well. That's per user, okay? There is money, shmoolah, big clams, if you will, with the video game industry, and it has never been a better time to make sure to capitalize on every single aspect of it.
Let's go gambling!
This includes, but is not limited to, in-game product placement.
Aw, dang it!
Microtransactions.
Aw, dang it!
Gambling.
Aw, dang it!
And even more microtransactions.
Aw, dang it!
We've got it all, folks. If you exist, EA will charge you for it. And yet, there remains one corner of the video game market yet to be exploited. That's right, gay people. Relatively speaking, LGBTQIA+ gamers have not been capitalized on or catered to in the video game market compared to like all of the gamers in games ever in history of forever, okay? Now, should I be taking offense to not being capitalized on? I don't know. But honestly, I personally think we will have equality once EA starts charging you $1 every single time you have a homoerotic thought. But you know what? I digress, okay? Listen to this, okay? A Forbes article from February of 2024 details that only a mere 2% of the total video game libraries of PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo have queer storylines or even feature a queer character, okay? Girl, 2%, girl, okay? And what is even crazier, in 2023, a Statista survey detailed that 32% of Americans regularly play video games, with 47% of which being LGBTQIA+ people who are more likely to play video games than any other sector within that 32%. This outplays both the male players and the Gen Z players. Now, of course, the queer pool is going to be larger because queer people are made up of all of these demographics and more. But the fact remains, gay people game, okay? They game a lot, and I can bet my top dollar there is at least one homosexual playing Far Cry as we speak.
Hey?
What's up?
Hey, quick question. What are you playing right now?
Far Cry? Why?
So pray tell, why aren't we being capitalized on? Okay? Come on, I thought money was the one thing to trump all prejudice, right? I want to be exploited just like the average Joe, okay? Just cause my credit card has a whiff of fruit about it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It doesn't work cause there's no money on there, but details, okay? So okay, listen to me. Of course, queer people don't make up the majority of the video game consumer base, okay? So no one is asking for every character to be slaying the house down boots, yes mama, in Cyberpunk 2077. But it would be nice to have just a smidge more, But in saying that, no one, and I mean no one, wants the corporate, hey gay, type of queer rep, and we most definitely don't want the dreaded gay button, okay? I started this video to ask the question, why does the video game market not cater to queer audiences more if queer gamers are so prevalent? But The answer is homophobia, so I don't need to spend 30 minutes telling you that, so we're gonna pivot, okay? Instead, I turn to a different question. What kinds of games make up this 2%? Who are they? Are they actually good? Or are they dogma when it comes to portraying queer people? What is the gay button, and how can we work around it? This video is the one to answer these questions and to watch. Obviously, it's what the title pretty much said, and that's why you clicked, so. Also, note, this video is mainly tackling mainstream video games for the sake of brevity, and also because I'm tired. But if you want a more indie-leaning video of this type, then, you know, fire away in the place where you do that, okay? Also, apologies. I'm so rude, I didn't even introduce myself. Hey, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to it. My name is E, as in exploitation, girl. Okay. Happy Pride Month, woo! I hope you like this Pride special video. Let's get into it. Subscribe, like the video. I have a Twitch, twitch.tv/eissocial. Okay, don't click away, we're starting. Fallout 2 is set in the year 2241, 80 years since the time in the first Fallout. You are the chosen one, the grandchild of the OG Fallout protagonist, and you gotta save people's lives, okay? You know the drill. So every game we're gonna be talking about today will not necessarily be in chronological order, but this one we will be talking about first because this game was the first ever big Western name game to allow same-sex marriage in it. No matter the gender of your player character, you are able to romance the characters Davin or Miriam and eventually get married. This game was released in 1998, okay? The first country to ever legalize same-sex marriage was the Netherlands in 2000. So this game allowed same-sex marriage before the Dutch said, yeah, that's chill. Though from my research, no, I have not played this game, okay? Nuclear war scares me, heart emoji, okay? This didn't cause a huge wave or a lot of fuss back in 98, mostly due, I believe, to the fact that homosexuality was only present if you looked for it, okay? Some were shown in a way to be bisexual, but since they were, it felt like the public didn't take their sexuality seriously. Additionally, from what I understand, there isn't like a gay person just out and about living their life in the apocalypse just being gay, okay? No one is like, oh yeah, that's Jim, he's gay. The option to marry Davin or Miria is available, but it is very easily missed if you're playing the game as a heterosexual person. You honestly wouldn't know those characters had the capacity to be queer if you weren't actively looking for it. This is what video game designer Anna Anthropy coined the gay button. Hey, I teased it at the beginning, there she is. The gay button is pretty much where players are able to toggle queerness on or off so that the video game can appeal to both homophobes and them queers. So yes, in 1998, allowing characters to have same-sex marriage is awesome, okay? We take the dub. But is it as awesome if it doesn't exist until it is looked for, right? The gay button will be quite the topic of discussion for this video. Obviously, it's in the title. And we'll be adding on to this conversation later. The Fallout games that followed showcased leaps and bounds when it came to queer rep. Good amount of NPCs and characters who are just shown to be queer, raising children together, or just talking about their past relationships super casually in Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4, and 76. Fallout New Vegas proved to tackle such concepts in a really interesting way, in my opinion, by expanding on the Wasteland Society's politics. These societies were created to try and bring back what life was like in the old world, and to recreate the past, well, a lot of prejudices are bound to pop up again. I think that that is super interesting and cool to see a franchise grow with the times and start to show queerness in a chill, casual, not that big of a deal kind of way, okay? By having NPCs and characters just casually being queer out in the wild allows the game to not suffer from the gay button. You can't opt out of seeing those characters. So, which Fallout game is your favorite? Please let me know. I started playing 76, and then I watched my spouse get killed in front of me while nuclear bombs fell down around us, and it traumatized me a little bit. That is a huge fear of mine. It hit a nerve. But I'll play it. I'll play it. I want to play it really bad. It seems really cool. I saw the horrors. Okay, The Sims. Honestly, queen of innovation when it comes to the old queer topic. But fun fact, it only became this way due to a complete accident. EA's hit franchise The Sims allows you to live out a simulated world and do just about anything. You could become an astronaut, become a billionaire if you know the right cheat codes, and even murder. So who's to say that two ladies can't have a little bit of a smooch? The Sims came out in 2000 and devs had a plan of attack. Homosexuality was in. It would be included in the social system of The Sims. EA executives already thought the game was gonna flop and be dog, so they were like, please don't try it with the homos, please. The devs listened, the devs went, aw, okay. But luckily, programmer Patrick J. Barrett III, we got two others of this guy, did not get the memo that homosexuality was out, so he followed the out-of-date documents and programmed accordingly. E3 came around, and upon showcasing the game in a scripted demo, two sim ladies decided to show off their new gay iOS update and started smooching each other in front of everyone. For this to happen casually in 2000, well, it brought a lot of attention to the game, and it got people talking. Because you know what? Press is press. EA decided to trust the devs to keep it in, The Sims grew, and today, The Sims franchise is one of the biggest in video game history. With each new game, new features were added to be more inclusive. We're now in The Sims 4, anything is possible with your Sims, okay? You can make transgender Sims, you can have queer marriages, and you can still commit murder. It did take a while for us to get to The Sims 4. There was some like weird non-marriage marriage options for queer Sims, prejudice in the simulated world. Who would have thought? But we did eventually get there. Now, I'm not saying The Sims was successful because they had queer options in it, but it obviously wasn't a detriment, obviously, okay? Arguably, this game could be argued to operate on the gay button, where you can either opt in or opt out of seeing queer people or being queer yourself. But since it's a simulation and the game's whole shtick is that it could be literally whatever the player wants it to be, I don't think the gay button is gonna be part of this conversation, and I don't think that's an issue here. So hooray Sims. Everyone say thank you Patrick J. Barrett III. Thank you Patrick, you're a real one, man. Even though it was an accident, we take the dubs. Mass Effect is where you, Commander Shepard, are an elite human soldier in the year 2183, and you are in space, baby! You got alien friends, alien foes, and you gotta kill some of the baddies from taking over civilization, you know the drill, okay? And in a world where you are not on a world, but rather in space, you would think that along with all types of intelligent life forms surrounding you, some ought to be gay. This is the case with Mass Effect, while also not so much. In the first game, if you play as female Shepard, you are able to have a queer romance with Lyra, an Asari who presents femininely but states that their race does not operate on humans' definitions of gender, so they like don't have a gender, period. I love it, I love it. Lyra also, if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, don't shoot me, okay? Lyra is also a romance option for male Shepards as well. But male Shepards didn't get a queer romance option until Mass Effect 3, where Steve Cortex is introduced as well as the human biotic Kaidan finally being romanceable. Though from my research, I do think it is a general notion that the first Mass Effect game does operate on the gay button rule. The characters only really exist as queer if someone were to look for it or hit the gay button. Right, okay. But the Mass Effects that follow open up for more queer romances for both Shepards and also with other queer NPCs and characters just existing. Like for example, Gil from Mass Effect Andromeda identifies as gay and will turn you down if you try to make a move on him as a female Shepard. This series definitely had its ups and downs when it comes to queer characters. Many characters' queer sexualities were actually scrapped before making it to the final version of the game, according to some devs on the project, which is, you know, unfortunate, because like, why did it get scrapped? But they got there when they got there. But Mass Effect's sibling, Dragon Age, is a completely different story. Dragon Age and Mass Effect both came from BioWare, but they differ when it comes to queer characters and representation. We have talked about the gay button pretty often so far, and I think Dragon Age is the first that we have talked about so far in this video that kind of throws the gay button out of the window, okay? Dragon Age, like the others we have talked about, has romanceable characters that you, the player, are able to woo to your heart's content. But your cast of companions aren't queer if the player decides that they want them to be queer or they want to go down that road, okay? Some of your companions, just like real life, have set sexualities and preferences, and if you don't line up with that, then too bad, Buster. I think it's really cool to showcase characters in this way because it just makes them feel so alive, in my opinion, that they aren't suddenly queer because the player said so, but they are openly identifying as what they want to because it's just who they are. In the first Dragon Age, out of the 4 romanceable companions, 2 of which are bisexual and are able to be romanced if you are either the male or female warden, while the other 2 are heterosexual. And the characters are pretty open about this, with Zevran, for example, openly talking about his bisexuality and not just allowing the player to find out if it's convenient or if they go down a specific route. Dragon Age 2 companions differ since they seem to all be bisexual and can be romanced no matter who you play as. Inquisition is also super interesting because the companions return to being very individualized with their preferences, with some of the companions only being romanceable if you meet their preferred race, which is wild. Solas, infamously so, will only be romanced if you are a female elf, which is crazy. Who likes that guy? Who likes that guy? He's ugly too. Like, he's ugly and he's racist. But yeah, no, like him if you want to like him. Just don't kill me. Just Solas fans, don't kill me, please. Meanwhile, Dorian will only be romanced if the player is a man, and Sarah is the same as long as the player is a woman. Dorian's sexuality in particular adds a lot of depth to his story, for example, since in his backstory, he has fled his home country due to its overwhelming homophobia. He loves his country, but of course had to flee since it seemed the sentiment was not mutual. The storyline isn't just there for the corpo to be like, wow, see, a gay person, we're so progressive. It's to create a compelling character that can also deeply resonate with queer people. The newest Dragon Age, Vanguard, that just got announced like a week or so before writing this paper, said that all companions are pansexual, so let's freaking go! So in my humble opinion, when a game is set in a fantastical land, I don't know, queerness and other types of people should just be like a no-brainer for existing. You know, like it's kind of like duh. I mean, we got magical flying beasts and cursed amulets and prophecies, but a bro can't smooch his homie? Yeah? Relax, okay? Relax. I do find a lot of merit and love for RPGs like this and for the games that we have talked about so far that have romance options, but that each character has their own identity and preference that may or may not gel with your chosen character. So from the perspective of E, who is writing a script on which games are stronger than others for queer representation, I will cheer when I see Dragon Age strictly making the characters very individualized with their respective sexualities. But from E, the pansexual gamer who wants to romance everyone and anyone, then I will cheer even louder when all the characters are pan. In addition, which I think is so cool, if you don't romance a companion in Vanguard, the newest game coming out, there is a high chance that they will form a relationship with a different companion or a character out in the open world. This is so cool. This makes the characters even more alive by showing that they don't just exist for the player character, but that they have their own wants and desires. It makes them so much, it adds to their story. It's just cool. It's just so cool. I also love that the relationships in these games aren't central to the story and that it isn't a big deal for someone to be queer or not. But we have talked enough about RPGs and romanceable characters for now, so let's talk about some indie hits. But before that, I have to tell you guys about the place I go to when I want to tell people what I do here on YouTube. I do have quite the video registrar. I mean, I talk about videos like this one, I talk about issues in internet fandom spaces, and sometimes I dabble in just spending 30 minutes crying over villainous women. All right. And to be able to showcase these layers that I have, quite like an onion, I use Squarespace. Squarespace is quite literally the place to go to when you want to build a website, okay? I needed to make a website to be able to show my work, but girl, I got places to be and people to see, which means I just want to go play Baldur's Gate 3. bars. And so time is of the essence. So good thing Squarespace has pre-existing layouts for all kinds of templates to fit into what I need, from making a shop page to showcasing portfolio work such as mine. You can see how much traffic your website gets with their built-in analytics tab, and you can work to optimize the website even more using Squarespace's built-in SEO tools. Also, if you're lost on how to cook on your website, you can always contact their website professional to help you out. Sounds so slay, right? Visit squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when you realize just how delectable it is, go over to squarespace.com/eissocial to get 10% off your very first purchase of a website or a domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and now back to more games. Games. Undertale was and still is a massive success and was a very important moment in gaming history. It is absolutely beloved and respected by the gaming community for its rich world and incredible storytelling and world building. Undertale and its sequel, Deltarune, have some confirmed queer characters, and it's so cool. Undyne and Alphys are shown to have feelings for the other. There is some subtle hinting towards the beginning that these women are queer, but as the game progresses, it gets more and more obvious. Undyne is a lesbian, while Alphys is shown to be bisexual. It is really natural in its portrayal of this queer relationship, and it doesn't make it a big deal or something that should be showered with praise. They just simply exist in the game as they are, which is how queer people existing in video games ought to be like. If you want the true pacifist ending, the player character must help them confess their feelings to each other. Additionally, our protagonist is named Frisk and is non-binary. This trend continues in the next game, where Chris is the new protagonist and is also non-binary. Many characters and species that Chris runs into also use they/them pronouns. Noelle and Susie are both lesbians, and there are even more queer characters in both games that I didn't even mention. The way Undertale portrays queer people is just lovely because it isn't made into a huge deal. Queer people IRL just exist by existing, so it makes sense that a good game with good storytelling would do the same. It does not suffer from the gay button because these characters still have a life and a personality outside of the player character. They don't stop being queer or suddenly become queer because of the choices that we make. So Undertale, I salute you. You will always be famous. So, talk about indie hits, okay? People snort this game like it's crack cocaine, okay? But in regards to our conversation today, this game is tricky, okay? Honestly, surprisingly so. This game went ultimate platinum in the gaming queer community. So when I started playing it and I saw that I had all of these bachelors and bachelorettes to be able to romance, I was like, whoa, I stand for the flag and kneel for the cross. I still romance the emo guy, whatever. All the habits die hard. But then I watched Verily Bitchy's video, How Bisexuality Changed Video Games, and honestly, the video changed my life, let alone video games, okay? It also helped me get some of my thoughts in order for this video. It introduced me to the concept of the gay button, so I highly recommend watching that video as well. In addition, because she talks about even more games that suffer from the gay button and more ideas and stuff. Verily's video surrounds many games and pays really close attention to Stardew Valley, because if you are a guy character, you can romance the guys, and if you are a girl character, you have the possibility to romance the girls. But Verily talks about an issue with Stardew Valley and the concept of its Schrodinger's bisexuality. Characters exist in a box where there may or may not be gay gas smoking them out, so they are simultaneously queer while also not queer until we open the box or hit the gay button. All of the couples in the town are in straight presenting pairings. There is not a whiff of queerness in this town until you look for it. When you romance Sebastian or Alex as a guy, they go, whoa, I've never felt this way for a guy before, but you're different. Or they try to ignore their feelings completely. Abigail states she didn't realize she liked girls like this. Leia is so interesting because if you romance her in a straight way, her ex pops out of nowhere during a cutscene and he is a guy to continue this thought process that she is straight. But if you romance her in a queer way with a lady character, her ex is suddenly a woman. Is this to be consistent with her sexuality? Why can't she just be bi? Why can't the ex just be a guy in both turns or be a woman in both turns? These characters are shown to be either full queer or not at all, depending on what you decide. Elliot seems to be the only character who realizes his bisexuality, but will only ever talk about his sexuality if you romance him as a guy and he admits he was worried he didn't like other men. But as Verily pointed out, if you are a girl, he will just never talk about it. I find it so interesting that when I personally think of gay gaming, I think of many games, with Stardew Valley being one of the most prominent ones. So it's so weird when you realize that the queer rep is actually like hidden. You can play this game straight as a stick and it could be walking down the street and you wouldn't know a thing. It's great queer rep in the sense that when you go looking for it, it's just like super chill. When you marry in a gay way, the town doesn't throw tomatoes at you or yell slurs at you or make it some huge progressive deal. They just go, love is love. This game is perfect for the queer community and also for the homophobic community. And whether or not that is detrimental in the long run is up to each individual player, okay? Games can't be perfect. Stardew Valley is not perfect. And I'm glad that queerness is even an option. But compared to some of the other games on this list, it is a bit disappointing that queerness was treated in this way. The game is still super slay though. I recommend it. It's just interesting to talk and to think about. So, moving on.
I don't deserve you. You should be with a real girl.
Who are you? I am from ancient Greece.
A game based on ancient Greek gods is surely to be the most straight game of the century, right? Girl. To the surprise of no one, this game is very queer. And from my research, very unapologetically so. I am happy to announce right here, right now, that this game does not suffer from the gay button. The protagonist, Zagreus, is able to romance women and men, and can even be in a polyamorous relationship if all goes according to plan. According to NMEs.com's Dom Pepiat's article on this very subject, Greg Kasavin, the creative director of Supergiant Games for Hades, always intended to make the world of Hades queer and casually so. Narrative plot lines and conflicts are based on the issues in the world itself and not on who is gay or not and how are they gonna deal with them being gay, okay? Kasavin noted how it just made sense that there would be queerness present in the game this way because the characters are all Greek gods and being queer or having a polyamorous relationship just wouldn't be that out of place. Kasavin said, quote, "It didn't make sense to do it any other way. I would say they're God. Their value system is different and they don't face the kinds of challenges around having to be the person that they want to be and be with the people they want to be with in that world." I have always believed, and I'm of the opinion, that when tackling subject matter like mythology or higher beings that purely exist out of our societal confines, that things such as gender and sexuality are never ever a big deal because who cares, you know? These are beings beyond our comprehension. Relax. Relax. Hades 2 just dropped, and from what I have heard, the excellent queer representation that was so natural and beautiful in the first game is just as gorgeous in the second. And also, not to plug, I will be playing Hades on Twitch like a week after this video comes out on the 28th and 29th of June as part of our Pride marathon that we are hosting, and I have saved playing Hades for this very moment and opportunity, so I am so excited. My pan-Greek mythology loving ass is going to die, okay? So come on down if you want to experience that together. Okay, so we have been talking about primarily Western games and also about games that blatantly have queer characters either as an option to romance or to just exist in general, gay button or not. We haven't talked about games whose queer representation exists in a state of coding and ambiguity. This is where some of the Hoyoverse games come into play. Girl, if you have been here on this channel before, then you know what's coming up. But if you are new, then hey, how are you doing? I make a lot of videos on Hoyoverse games because I'm a fan and I want to. I want to do more videos on just queer gaming in general like this one, but foundation of this here channel is on Genshin Impact and some Honkai Star Rail. Amen, okay? I have some videos on some possible queer coding within these games and the past and other Honkai games under the Hoyoverse label that outright canonizes queer couples. Hoyoverse is a Chinese game company, so they are subject to censorship laws. So any queer representation must be made on the sly. We have some characters who are hinted at having feelings for the main protagonist in Genshin Impact, no matter which gender you play as, such as Ayaka, Xiao, Linny, Kokomi, and others. You could say they are simps in every universe, and I find it super sweet. We have some couples who are this universe's copy of canonized lesbians in other Honkai games in both Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, such as Ei and Yai Miko and Bronya and Sela, respectively. We have rich, intricate lore based on cultural symbolism to infer a romantic connotation between characters, and you know what? We also have two guy roommates, and they were roommates, you know?
And they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Which have beautiful mirror symbolism and are written to intrinsically be each other's better half. Nothing to see there though. Kaveh and Alhaitham, babes, you will always be famous, okay? If you want more specifics for my thoughts on the queer coding of Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, head over to my channel. You could throw a rock and you'll hit one of those videos, okay? You can't miss it. But yes, I do believe there is a lot of queer coding happening in Hoyoverse games, and it's really cool to find when you look for them. But not being super obvious with the coding, many players just won't see it at all and still deny it to this day. But at the same time, it's cool to know that lesbians just run the countries in Teyvat and Genshin Impact, and they just exist, and it's like super chill. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm not gonna say anything about the gay button for this because censorship is a thing right now, so I don't think that's fair. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. Those are just my thoughts. I am a gacha gamer. Someone put me out of my misery, please.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for.
Honestly, I hate this game. I definitely think it's overhyped and it didn't deserve the award show sweep, like being the first video game in like history or something to get every single game award show. Like really, I hate the intricate storylines and the complex characters, and I especially hate those moon lesbians, okay? And I definitely do not have 420 nice plus hours in this game, and I most certainly don't have 5 runs going on at the same time, and I do not have a Gale Decario's wallpaper. Okay, yeah, I know, I'm joking, obviously. I'm not normal about this game, so everyone strap in. I'm so high I get to talk about it for the next few minutes. Yes! Okay, so everyone and their mom, like literally, is gay in Faerun, okay? There is so many queer people in this game and I just love it. So, but my brain is still like hardwired for ancient Greek in a heterosexual lens. So when I found a passed out person in the sewers, as you do, that was holding a note that sent them condolences for their husband's death, I was confused because the person passed out wasn't a woman, but it was a guy. I was like, whose letter is this? Gay! They were husbands! Oh my god. Well, one of them is dead now. And the other drank so many sleep potions he won't ever wake up again and is lying there in the sewers, but I was still happy. Gay people in the wild. Like the other RPGs we have talked about, your companions are pretty much all romanceable and they're all pansexual, and they aren't hidden behind the gay button. Like, as long as you are just decent and nice to Gale, he will fall in love with you. It does not matter what you look like, how you identify. My man is a yearner, okay? There's no stopping him. So again, this isn't like a gay button type of situation either, because you do find out about these characters' sexualities just by playing the game. Gale tries to woo you with magic if you like save his life. The bar is in the hells, okay? Astarion talks of his past about having to woo a man he actually cared for to bring to his master. Girl, that's a whole thing. Don't ask, okay? Minthara, love my life, talks about her girlfriend she had to kill because drow. And upon being a good person in Act 2, you see the coolest character to ever exist, Dame Aylin, tell you to GTFO out of her face so she can be with her cleric girlfriend. I want what they have so bad. Oh my god. I am so obsessed with Dame Aylin. Don't get me started, okay? Other characters out in the world just offhandedly mention their partners casually, if applicable, and the gayness is not like made a big deal at all, okay? Queer people just exist. All of my customizable characters are non-binary, and I cried a little bit when the characters refer to my character as they. Like we won. And there's also a really cool polyamorous representation with Halsin, who will also yearn for you as long as you are a good person and will ask for a poly relationship with you and your current romance partner if you have one, and he does so very respectfully. And depending on who your partner is, they may say yes or no based on their preferences. Also, again, it's never made a big deal about you or anyone's love life, okay? The game is all about trying to save the world and not turn into a squid monster, okay? And you get cool scenes if you romance characters, but if you don't, then, you know, nothing really changes. So that is all to say, play Baldur's Gate 3. Thank you, Larian, for inventing gay people. I salute you, okay? Please let Dirge kiss Gortash. Overwatch is one of the most loved and highly respected titles to come out of gaming in the last decade. Can you imagine? Girl, please. People hate this game so much. I can't be hype about a new character coming out without looking at the replies on the announcement tweet and seeing fans screaming for the game developers to like disconnect their life signals. And yet they still play. Okay, so I've been playing Overwatch since like a year or two after it first released, and it's great, man. I don't know. I'm too tired to be hating on shit, okay, and getting angry at things. So I can't muster a single to go online and rage about the game, but I can if there are gay people involved, and there are. Overwatch has them queers, okay? And unapologetically so, okay? It's also not like made into a huge deal or like a huge story note that Tracer is a girl kisser, for example, you know? They just are. And hey, I've been playing this game for years, and I stopped when I was in college, and then I came back to it, and I found out that Soldier 76 was a gay man this whole time? Was someone gonna tell me? Also, just to like make a little statement, I love that Soldier 76, the quintessential good old American soldier who is basically Captain America, is a gay. Period. Those Reaper Soldier 76 yaoi fanfiction going crazy. Tracer, the mascot of the game, is a lesbian, and proudly so. Okay, you can't gay button turn that off no matter how many weird videos you see online that contradicts that statement. Life Weaver is pansexual. He flirts with Baptiste, and Baptiste reciprocates and is bisexual. The recent addition to the game added Venture, who is non-binary. So we got fruits up in here, okay? Farah is also a proud lesbian, and her and Baptiste talk about their sexualities in the short As You Are. And Ash is also queer too, because she's my criminal girlfriend, right, team? I start crying. Overwatch may be divisive for numerous reasons for some reason, but when it comes to gay folk, there are aplenty. Now, is Blizzard just doing this to capitalize on gay people? Maybe. I hope so, because then more companies will. Also, with how homophobic the gaming community can be, you know what? Who's to say? I personally don't find it to be cringe or performative. I think they're chill about it, so yay. Big thumbs up for me. Okay, don't look this game up. Deadass. Cut the cameras. Deadass, okay? It's really dark, and when I mean dark, I mean really dark and really disturbing, and not for everyone. Not for most, actually. I don't recommend this game, but this section is for me, okay? So, speedrun. Kahara, in the first game, mentioned his past with men, so by King. And in the second game, Marina is a trans woman, studied in the dark arts, and I think she is so cool. I am such a huge fan of her. I adore her. I think she kicks ass, and I love her trans representation in this game. It's so like natural and beautiful, and the story behind it is so cool. I love her. Do not look this game up if you're under 18. I'm actually being serious. It's actually so traumatizing, so don't ask why it's my comfort game. I can't play Fallout 76, but I can boot up Fear and Hunger with a candle and be relaxed. Hey, I contain multitudes. What can I say? So those are the games I wanted to talk about in today's video. There are certainly more big name games that tackle queerness in good ways and also bad ways, but honestly, not that much more, okay? Not that much more. There are also a lot more indie games that handle this subject in an amazing way. So if you liked this video, then give it a like to let me know you liked it, and then sound off in the comments if you would like another one of these videos but focus solely on indie games. That sounds like a lot of fun, so let me know. I think think it's super important to celebrate games that have queerness in it, gay button or not, while also being able to hold conversations calmly over where improvements can be made. I mentioned earlier that I wish video games would exploit or capitalize on gay people more in a semi-joking manner. Games do it just to do it, then it can come off very performative and super lame. But if it becomes the norm and it's not treated as like a big thing, if video games just treat queer people as people, then having a queer character wouldn't be that huge of a deal and would appeal to an even larger audience. So, food for thought, okay? Food for thought. So, let me know what games that you have played and others that I haven't talked about, and what your opinions are for how they portray queerness, whether or not they have a gay button, and so on. I'd love to hear from you guys. Again, please like the video and subscribe so you can see me pop up on your recommended some more, if you would like that. Follow my social medias here if you wish, and also again join us over on twitch.tv/eissocial on the 28th and the 29th to play Hades and other queer games together and in the future. So yes, I'm super excited for that. Consider becoming a member on the Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/eissocial, where you will be supporting the channel and also getting access to videos a few days early and getting a shout out at the end of every single video, plus some other perks as well. So that being said, I'd love to give a huge shout out to Alien Eyes, Luel, Jonah, Kaya, Ayake, Luendril, Joanne, Moon, Miro, Blue Crystal, and Looney. Thank you guys so much for becoming members on the Ko-fi. It means the world, and I hope you are enjoying your stay there, and thank you again, for real. Also, my mom wants me to remind you guys, because I keep forgetting, that we do have a merch store. You guys are called the Rat Sewer, so if you want to show off your Rat Sewer pride, then head on over to the link in the description down below to head over to Fourth Wall to get some cool rat merch. We have recently dropped a new sticker to celebrate Pride 2024. It is this one right here, and you can get it today if you, again, go to the link in the description and use the code GAYPRIDE for 10% off. It's all capital letters right here on screen. Gay Pride for 10% off if you want to get one of these stickers or any other Rat Pride merchandise. This code is good until the end of July, so you've got time. That is all from me. I have been E, and if I don't see you on Twitch, then I'll see you in the next one, okay? Bye!